Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Zudi. If you're new here, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you're one of my subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing and thank you for always giving my videos a thumbs up. So in this tutorial, we're going to learn to build a very simple dark theme portfolio website using React. So let me walk you through what we're going to be building. First off, we're starting with this hero section here that has a form of typewriter that is displaying this. Okay, so this is what we're going to build in the hero section. The hero section has two sections. We have the left and the right section. The left section contains just a small info about the owner of the portfolio. We have the name and we have the job title. And then we have this text here saying, I'm a senior front-end engineer with over 15 years of successful working experience. We have the image here. Then we have this about section. Before we get to the about section, if you noticed, I believe you noticed, we have this navigation section right here. This is a fixed bottom navigation bar. The navigation is at the bottom, not at the top. As you can see, it is fixed irrespective of where you scroll to. So we're going to be having this fixed navigation section as well at the bottom of the screen. And then we have this about section. This about section has the image as well and a little about me text. And it also has two buttons to download CV and to hire. Also, we have the skills section, the skills and tools. So this is displaying the skills, every tools that the user uses and all of that. Then we have the work section. The work section is pretty to display your best work, for whoever wants to hire you. Okay, so this work section here, we just have 4 year as a sample. And then for each work list, we have a container, or would I call it a card, where we have the title of the project and little text. This is going, you can replace this with, you know, intro about the project, or, write up about the project, description of the project, whichever. And then we have the GitHub icon with the link. So the GitHub icon is going to, you are going to have, if you see, if I hover on it, there is a link on the bottom left section. Okay, so you can add your link to the GitHub of the project. Then we have the link section for live preview of the project, and then we have an image of the project as well. Then this is the second one, this is the third. It is the same thing. We have the link, the project title, the description, the image of the work, and all of that. Right, next we have the contact section. So this is a very pretty basic contact section. We have the first name, the last name, the email, and the message container, and we have a submit button right here. And then for the footer section, this is a very, very basic footer. We have the name of the user, the social icons, all of that. This is just a very basic footer. So for this navigation, if you're wondering, the navigation works perfectly well. So I'm just going to click on about, and it takes us to about. I'm clicking on home, and we're back right here. If I click on work, it takes us to the work section. And then if I click on contacts, it takes us to the contact section. So basically, this is what we're going to be building in this tutorial. This is a very simple portfolio website that you can use to display your work over the years, stuff like that. So let's get started. So I'm just going to open my VS Code. This is open already. Then I'm going to navigate to my terminal, select the new terminal. Then I'm going to change directory to my desktop. Click on tab. I'm going to change directory to YouTube project. I have a folder for YouTube project. So you can create a folder, or I have a folder for YouTube project. So then I'm going to run this command, npm create byte at latest portfolio. It's a dark theme portfolio, so I'm giving it portfolio dark hyphen template React. Okay, so this is going to create a React app. Now you need to navigate to the app that you just created, portfolio dark. Then you run this command. make sure you're connected to internet, and then this is going to install. So we're done with the installation, and then you navigate back to file, click on folder. Remember that we change directory to desktop, so just click on desktop, and then I change directory to personal YouTube project. So I'm going to click on YouTube project, then I'm going to look for the React app I just created. So the name is Portfolio Dark. I'm going to select the folder and open it in VS Code. So this is it in VS Code. I just need to do some cleanups. First, I'm going to delete out the CSS. And then I'm going to open up my app.jsx. Then I'm going to clean it up, Control A, then backspace. Then I'll use a shortcut to create a functional React app, which is RAFCE. So to use this shortcut, you need to have this extension, which is called ES7 React Redux React Native extension. Okay, so remember to install that extension. I don't think I showed it well, so remember to install this extension before you can make use of RAFCE. So that is that. Then I'll go back to my Explorer, then index the CSS as well. I'm going to clean it up. Then for my roots, I'm setting the margin to 0. Padding as well is going to take 0. Okay, then for my index.html, I am going to change this to Alvin Portfolio. Right? So we need to check if our React app is working. You navigate back to terminal, click on new terminal. Then you're going to run this code, npm run dev. Press enter. You don't need internet connection for this. So, alright, then you're going to see this. And then it is working. So we have our app here, which means that it is working. So now let's head back to what we're trying to build. First off, we have this typewriter here. That means we need to install React typewriter. And then we have all this here, the icons. So that also means that we need to install React icon. And also, I think that is all. We just need React icon and React typewriter. Then I'm going to get all the images. I have all of that as well. So let's get to it. So we need React typewriter, React icon. Okay. And we also need React typewriter. So this is a simple typewriter. So if you're on this website here, just click on this, copy this, head back to your terminal, just open a new one, and then paste what you just copied earlier. Oh, I copied something else. Okay, I'm going to copy this again. Then I'm going to paste it here on my terminal. Then for the simple typewriter, I'm going to copy this as well, and then open another terminal for it to be faster. Then I'm going to paste it also. So while all of this is going on, we need to start working in our SRC. Okay, before that, we need to get all the images that we're going to be using. So I'm going to copy all of the image into my asset folder. These are all of the images that we need. So I'm going to select all. Then I'm going to copy every single one of them to my asset folder. Replace. So we have all of the images right here. I'm also going to copy all of the icons as well that will be in the skills. I'm going to paste them in my asset folder. Alright, so once I'm done with that, I'm going to close this folder. So I think we're done with our installations and our packages have been installed. Now we can dive into the main coding. I'm going to start by creating our component folder in the SRC folder. So I'm going to have components. Then in the components, we're going to have every single one of our components. So we're going to have our navbar components folder. In the component folder as well, we're going to have our hero section folder. We're going to have the about section. In the component folder, we're also going to have the skills section. We are going to have the work section. We're going to have the contact section. We're going to have the footer section. Alright, so this is all we're going to have. And for each of the folders, we need to create JSX and CSS file. So I'm going to have about.jsx, use RAFCE to create a functional React. This is shortcut to create a functional React app. So RAFCE, press enter. Then in our about folder, we're going to have our about.css. Right? So I'm going to do all of that for each of the folders, for the contact, footer, hero, skills, navbar, work. So I'm going to pause this video to do all of that so that it won't take time. So I'm done with that. Now I can just close everything up and we can get started. We need to start by changing our background color for our entire code. So the body is going to take this color code background, we take this code, and our text color is going to be white. So now on Healthy Portfolio, you can see our background is the same with what we're trying to build. So this is it. Then we can now continue. We're going to start with the navigation. Let me close all of these files so we can focus on something. So we're starting with our navigation. We're starting with the navbar. So REFC to create a functional React app, and then I'm going to mount our nav components in the app.jsx. So here I'm going to have navbar. All right. Okay, so on our screen now we have navbar. Now let's start with our navigation bar. I'll start by creating a div tag with a class name of navbar. Then in the div tag, we're going to have a list, and we're going to have 4 list items. So for each of the list items, let me select all, Control Alt. So for each of the list item, we're going to create a link tag. And for each of the link tag, I'm just going to use an hash for now. So within the first link, we're going to have home. For the second link, this is going to take about. For the third link, this is going to take work. And for the last link, this is going to take contact. So right here, this is going to take a /, which is the link to the app.jss, which is our main app. And this is going to take hash about. This is going to take work, because we're going to be using ID very soon for each of the components. And this is going to take contact. Right? So this is our nav. And this is what we have on the screen. So now I'm going to my index.css. I want to style for the link tag. I don't want any form of decoration. Text decoration will be none. And the color of all the links will be set to white. And then for each list item, the list style will be set to none. So let us see. This is what we have now. So now that we're done with this, we need to open our navbar.css. Before we style, we need to import our CSS file into our JSX file. So we're going to have navbar.css in our JSX file. Then we can now start styling. I'm going to copy this navbar. We're starting with it. So remember that our navbar is fixed, so the position will be set to fixed. Then the bottom will be 20 pixels away from the bottom. Left will be set to 0. Right will be set to 0 as well. I want all the items in the center. Justify content as well, center. Display of all the items will be flex. And the background color is going to take this color code. The width of the entire navbar will take 230 pixels. And the padding will take 1.2 rem at the width and 3 rem for the height. Margin here will be set to auto. Z index will be 50, and the border radius is going to take 30 pixels. Now for the lists, display here is going to be flex. For each of the list items, we want a gap of 25 pixels, and the font width will take 600. So let us see, and we have it like this. Okay, this is looking all good. Now to our hero section. So I'm going to close the nav.css file and the nav.js file. Now to the hero section. We're going to start with REFC to create the functional React app. Press enter. Now we're on our hero section. So because in our hero section we have this typewriter, that is why we installed it. We need to import the typewriter into our hero section. So I'm going to import typewriter from React Simple Typewriter. I'm also going to be using this image here, this home image. So I'm also going to import the image. Import hero image from // is in our asset folder, and the name of the image is home.jpg. Okay, we can now get started. I'm going to create a div tag and give it a class name of hero. Our hero has 2 sections, the left and the right. Okay, so we're going to have, so in this we're going to have hero contents, So in our content, that is where we're going to have the lefts, hero lefts, and then we're going to have in another div we're going to have hero rights. Okay, so for the left section, we're going to have an h2 tag that is going to take the name of the user, the owner of the portfolio to be precise. I am Alvin Jonathan. This is just a name I made up. You can just change this to your name. And we're going to have an h1 tag, which is where the typewriter word is going to. So I'm going to use typewriter. So it has a self-closing tag. Now in our typewriter, we're going to have our words. So here we have the words. Now we're using our curly braces, open and close the braces, and then we're going to have this. Okay, so we have our square bracket, and we're going to have this as well. So we have our quotes now. Then you're going to type in the first word. In the first word, we have senior front-end developer, and then after the double quotes, there will be a comma for the next word that the typewriter is going to display. So you put a comma, then you create another double quotes. Then we're going to have another word you want it to display, senior. The senior should be in caps lock. Okay, so here we have senior front and engineer, right? So after our square brackets and the curly braces, we need to add a loop. Now we're going to also have cursor, and then you need to set the cursor style. So I want my cursor style to be this. Okay, and also we need to set the type speed, which is going to take 70, and we also need to set the delete speed, and that is going to take 50. We also need to set the delay speed. So for the delay speed, we're going to set this to 1000. Okay, and then next is a very short description, which is going to take a p tag. So we're going to have this. I am a senior front-end engineer with over 15 years of successful working experience. And then for our right section here, we're going to have a div tag with a class name of hero image. Remember that the right section has an image, and then we're going to use the image tag. And here we replace this with the curly braces and the name we give that image, which is hero image. And then for alt as well, this is going to be hero image. Okay, so for us to see this, we need to mount our hero section in our app.dsx. Okay, so this is done. Now this is what we have on the screen. As you can see, our typewriter is working well and every other thing is also showing. So what we need to do now is to style. So I'm going to open my hero.css, but before that I need to import my GSX file. I need to import my CSS file, hero.css into my GSX file. So I'm starting with the hero itself, copy and paste it in my hero.css. Okay, so the height is going to take 80 VH. The padding will take 25 pixels. Now for our hero content, copy this and paste this here. Display is going to be flex. Padding inline is going to take 110 pixels. The gap is going to take 30 pixels. Justify content space between, and then our border radius is going to take 10 pixels. Margin top is going to take 70 pixels. We don't need, this is not supposed to be here. Now we start with the left, right? Guys, don't forget to subscribe. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Okay, so for left side, the max width is going to be 50%. Margin top is going to take 100 pixels. That looks good. We have an H2 tag, remember, for the hero left. So here, H2, and then the font size for that is going to be 45 pixels. We also have an H1 tag, H1. The font size for that is going to take 70 pixels. We have a P tag as well in our hero left. So for the P tag, The font size is going to be 20 pixels. Margin top is going to take 15 pixels. And the text color is going to take this color code. Now we're done with the P, the H2. So now to the right section. So for hero right as well, mark suite is going to be hero right. The mark suite is going to be 50% as well. Now we have this hero image container. So right here, I'm going to paste it. Come on, what is wrong? I don't think I copied it correctly. So I'm going to copy this, paste it here. All right, so we're back. Display is going to take inline block. Border is going to be 8 pixels solid with this color code 21, 25, 31. Okay, and then the width of the container will be 350 pixels. Padding is going to take 20 pixels, and the border radius is going to take 15 pixels. Right, now for the image itself, this is for hero image. The image itself, the width is going to take 620 pixels. The height will take 480 pixels. Object fits will be contained, and then the margin left is just going to be minus 8.3 rep. Okay, so we have it here. It is exactly like this. Okay, everything looks good. Now the next thing we need to build is the about section, right? So to the about section. So I'm going to close the CSS and JSX file for our hero. I need to close this asset as well. Now to the about section. Okay, so because for this we're going to need this image, right? So we need to import the image. It's the same image that we used in the hero section. So here I'm going to import. I'll name it about image. Okay, I want to use an underscore about image from the forward slash asset folder, and the name of the image is home.jpg. Right, so we can continue. Now right here I'm going to delete this. Then I'm going to create a div tag with the class name of about and an ID of about as well. Okay, we have two sections. We have the left and the right. So we're going to have about left, and we're going to have about right. Okay, so for the left section we have an image. So we're going to have the image container, about image, and then our image tag. I'm going to replace these double quotes with curly braces, and I'm going to insert our image name here. Now to the right section, we're going to have an h2 tag for about me, and then we're going to have a p tag that you're going to replace with a description of yourself, something that tells more about you, but this is just going to be sample text. So here, this is the text that I'll be using, and then I'm going to have another div tag for our about button. This is going to serve as the button container. So this is it. We're going to have two buttons. We need two buttons. So the first button is going to take download CV. So you're just going to link your CV here. And then the second one is going to take hire me, which is going to lead to the contact form. Okay, so this is the about section. This is a very basic about section. Now we need to style this. Before styling, we need to mount our components in our JSX. So here in our app, so here I'm mounting my component. Okay, let's see what we've got. This is the image, this is the text, these are the buttons. So we just need to style now. So initially I've opened my about the CSS file, but I need to import my CSS file into my JSX file, about the CSS. So I'm starting with the about container itself, the class name. Here we have about. The display for this is going to take flex. Padding inline is going to be 100 pixels. Flex direction in this case will be row. The gap is going to take 10 rem, and the margin top is going to take 100 pixels. Okay, we need to set the image. Let's see. Okay, this is what we have. We need to set the image, right? Now let's jump right into the image. This is the container that wraps the image. Let's start with that. So for about image, display for a container inline block, the border radius that will be around this is going to be 8 pixels solid, and this color code 21, 25, 31. Okay, and the width for the image container is going to take 350 pixels. Padding is going to take 20 pixels, and the border radius is going to be 10 pixels. And then transform, we want to rotate this, transform, rotate at 355 degrees. Now for the image itself, so we're going to have about image container and the image tag. So the width of the image is going to be 300 pixels. The border radius is going to take 10 pixels. Margin left for this image will be 1.3 rem. And then we want to rotate, transform, rotate as 357 degree. Okay, I think we have a slight issue. Let's see. Okay, so this is not supposed to be border radius. This is supposed to be the border because we already defined the border radius here to be 10 pixels, right? So now we have everything working. Now to the right section. Now to the right section, about right. I'm just going to copy and paste it here. So we're starting with the H2 tag, which is where we have the about me text. So I'm going to set the font size to 100 pixels. We also have the P tag, and I'm going to set the font size to 20 pixels. I'm going to set the color code to this color code. And also I'm going to set the margin bottom to 20 pixels as well. What else do we have? Now we have the about buttons container. So for this button, the display is going to take flex, and between each of the buttons we want a gap of 15 pixels. Now the buttons, so the about button container and the button tag. So for the button padding, the height is going to take 1 rem and the width is going to be 3 rem. The border radius is going to take 10 pixels. Border, we're going to set it to none. Oh, sorry, this is going to take none. And then the font weight of the text is going to take 600, and the background color is going to take this color code RGB. Oh, sorry, this is supposed to be a bracket 15 215 250. Okay, let us see. And then we have this looking all good and clean. What else is there to do? We have the skill section before the work and the contact and the footer. Okay, so to the skills section, so I'm going to close the CSX and GSX file for the about. Now to the skills, RAFCE. Oh, this is caps RAFCE to create a functional React. So for this skill section, we're basically using the SVGs. Okay, so I'm just going to import all of this. So I'm going to start with Figma from / our asset folder / the name is Figma.svg, right? So what I'm going to do now to make it faster is to copy. Come on. So I'm going to copy this and paste it 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we need to change the name. So I'm selecting the second one. Then I'll use Ctrl D to select the next text that matches with what I just selected just once. So this is going to change to CSS. Then I'll do the same, Ctrl D. Then I'll change this to HTML5. That is the name of the icon. Ctrl D as well, just once. I'm going to click on PHP. Ctrl D. I'm going to use Node.js. That is the name of the image. Select Ctrl D. Oh, sorry, it's supposed to be twice. I think I made a mistake. Okay, Ctrl D. Alright, so this is going to be MongoDB. Did I get the spelling? MongoDB. Okay, and next I'm going to select this. Come on. Okay, I'm going to change this to Tailwind CSS. Then I'm selecting the next one again. This is going to take Visual Studio. That is the name of the image right here, Visual Studio.svg. Control D again. This is going to take React, and Control D again, and this is going to take JavaScript. Right, so we're done with all of the images. Now let's get to work. I'm deleting this. Then I'm going to create a div tag with a class name of skills. So here we're going to have an h2 tag that is going to take this text and choose. Then I'm going to create another div tag for the skills container. So in the skills container, we're going to have two, because two skills lists. So we're going to create a div tag with skills image 1. This is going to use underscore. So this is going to take the first one, and another div tag for skills underscore image underscore 2. Okay, so the first one is going to have 5 images. So image tag times 5. So we have 5 images right here. Oh, come on, control. So this is what we're going to have. So I'm just going to select everything on this line. So Control Alt, then your arrow icon that's going down. I want to replace this with a curly braces. Okay. So for this as well, I'm going to name everything skills icon. Okay. Now this is going to take Figma. So this is Figma. The second one is going to take Tailwind CSS. The third one is going to take HTML5. The fourth is going to take CSS, and the fifth is going to take PHP. Now for the image in the image 2 section, we're going to have 5 images as well. IMG times 5. Okay, we need to do the same thing. Try and get all of the images. Then here select Control Alt, select your arrow down, so that it's empty. Now for this as well, Control Alt and the arrow icon going down. This is going to take skills. Oh, sorry, Control Z is supposed to take skills icon, right? So for the first image here, we're going to have Node.js. For the second image, we're going to have MongoDB. For the third, we're going to have JavaScript. For the fourth, we are going to have React. And for the last one, we're going to have Visual Studio. Right, so this is everything. Now we need to mount our skills component in our app. So let's see what we've got. This is it. We just need to style so we can have it at the center. Now, okay, let me close my asset folder. Then I'm going to open my skills.css. Okay, before styling, I need to import my CSS file into my GSX. So here is skills. I'm copying this, then I'm going to paste this here. Come on. Let me copy this again. Come on. Okay, skills. Right, display is going to be grid. Place items at the center. You want to have a padding of 40 pixels. What is wrong with you? Okay, padding here will be 40 pixels. And our margin top is going to take foreign, right? We have an h2 tag, skills. We have an h2 tag, curly braces. The font size is going to take 38 pixels. 38 pixels. Then what else do we have? We have the skills container. So for the skills container, padding is going to take 20 pixels. Display is going to be grid. Place items as well in the center. Okay, so we have the first image container. So for the first image container, display is flex, and the gap between each of the images is going to be 2 rem. And then the images itself in the first image container, the width of each of the image will be 12 rem. Now to the second image container, paste it here. So we're going to have display as well with the flex. Let's see, gap as well with the 2 rem, but the margin top is going to be 2 rem as well. Now for the images, for each of the image, the width is going to take 10 rem. So this is what we have, looking all good. Okay, this is quite smaller than this. Let's resize. So I'm just going to resize this to 8 rem, and then it's looking all good. So next up is the work section. So I'm just going to close this file, close this other file, then open the work file, the work folder, starting with the work.gss file, RLC, to create a functional React app. So now we're on our work.gss file, and then first off, we need to import all of the images that we're going to be using. Okay, so I'm going to import image 2 from, I just give it a name, image 2 from my asset folder, and I'm using this first image, sample1.jpeg, that's the name. Okay, then import, I can just give it image 1 from my asset folder /sample2.jpeg. Then here import image 3 from my asset folder, and I'm using sample3.jpeg. Come on, .jpeg, right? So the fourth image, image 4 from /assets, and this is going to take sample4.jpeg. Okay, now that we have imported all of our images, we need to create an array of objects for the works that is going to contain all the contents that we'll be needing here. Let me show you what I mean. So here we have this GitHub link with the GitHub icon. We have the link to preview the project or the work, right? We have the title, we have the description, and we have the images. So we need to create an array of objects that's going to contain all of these. Then we're going to use the map method to map over each of the contents before we display. Okay, so I'm going to create an array for works. This is going to store all our content in form of objects. So for each object, I'm creating the first object. We have image, right? IMAGE, and this is going to take image 1. Okay, the title here, this is responsive, the image is showing responsive e-commerce website, right? And then we have our text, and the text I'm just going to use, and then we'll have GitHub. Okay, I don't think I used the comma here. Okay, so we're going to have GitHub, and then I'm just going to create like a link. GitHub. You can replace this with your GitHub link to the project you're trying to showcase, and then we'll have link here. You can replace this as well with the link of the project, like the live preview of the project. So to save time, I'm going to pause this video and add more, like create more objects. Okay, right. So I created more objects. So in our array we have 4 objects, and that is what is storing our content of what we want to display on our screen. We have the first object for the responsive e-commerce website with the image, the text, the GitHub link, and the link. The second one for SaaS marketing websites. This is part of the work that we want to display in the work section. The investment website, the e-learning website. So it's just short and simple. Then let us get to the main work. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this work. Then I'm going to create a div tag with an ID of work. So this is div.work with an ID of work. So I'm going to start with an h2 tag with the class name of work header, and it's going to take work. Oh, Ctrl Z. And I'm going to create the work container. So for work container, Now, what we're going to do here is to map over the array that we created earlier, each of the contents. So we're going to use the map method, works.map. So this is work. I'm going to pass work and then the index that will serve as the identifier. So we're going to return a div class, a div with a class name of work. Okay, so there's a little here. The first one here, the first div here is going to take work list, since that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to display the work list. Then this second div here is for each of the work, like each of the projects. Okay, and then I need to pass a key here for our identifier, which is going to be index, for the unique identifier for each of the work. Next thing is to create another div for work contents. So in the work content, we're going to have our work link and our work image. So this is for work. Okay, we have work content and we're going to have inside work content, we're going to have the work link. So I'm using two link tags. I need two. So the first one is going to take the GitHub link, work.github. Let me separate each of the links. And what we want to display is the GitHub icon. So GitHub. Then that is going to suggest a list of icons for me. So I'm going to use this icon here. The second one here is going to take work link. So work.link. And what I want to display is the link icon. So I'm using this icon. Also, inside our work contents, apart from the work link, we have the title, right? So I'm using an h2 tag and it is going to take work.title. And also we have the text. I'm using a paragraph tag here for work.text. So this is the work content is more like the left section. Now for the work image that we're going to display also, which is going to be on the right. So I'm creating a div tag with a class name of work image. So in the work image, we're just going to pass our image here, work.image. So to see what we've done, we're going to mount our work components in our app.jsx. So this is what we have without CSS styling. So let us style. First off, we need to import our CSS file into our JSX file. So we need to import our work.css into the JSX file. Then I'm going to open the CSS file for work. Then let us start the real styling. So for work list, so we're starting with work list, right? So we're starting with work lists and we want to style the work header. We want the text in the center. Margin top is going to take 30 pixels. The font size will take 90 pixels. The font family, we're using the font family of this font family. So I'm just going to paste this. Now we're going to style the work container. Display is going to take flex. Flex direction is going to be colon. We want all the items in the center. Overflow on y-axis, we want it to be auto. And padding here will take 20 pixels. Now to the work, each of the work lists itself, to the work list item. The background will take this color code. Display will take flex. Flex direction here will be no. The border radius will be 10 pixels. Margin. And then the max width is going to be 90%. The height of each work list item will be 500 pixels. Overflow will be hidden. And then the padding will be 10 pixels. Okay. Next thing we need to work on now is our work image. Okay, so we can style this work image. This is not looking okay. Let us style the work image. So my JSX file, the work image container, overflow will be hidden, and then flex, not flex direction, flex will be set to 2. So the image itself, the IMG tag, the width is going to take 100%, the height is going to take 100% of the container, object fits will be set to cover, and the border radius is 10 pixels, right? So basically we're not seeing anything because we're here to style the content. Now back to the content. So for the work content, flex will also be set to 2, padding will be set to 20 pixels, padding top here for the work content will be 60 pixels, and then padding left will take 30 pixels. Okay, so this is looking okay. Next up is the h2 tag that we have in the work content. We have an h2 tag. So the margin and then the font size will take 38 pixels. Margin top will take 40 pixels. We have a paragraph tag in our work content as well. So margin will be set to 0. The font size, we need to make it bolder, so 20 pixels should do it. Then the color of the text is going to take this color code. Also, we have this work link here that contains the GitHub icon and the link icon. So for the work link, display will be set to flex. Gap will be 20 pixels. Then for the link in the work link, the font size, which is going to be the font size for the icon that we're trying to showcase, will be 44 pixels. Okay, so this is what we have now. This is looking all good. So let's check if it's. So let us work on the contact and the footer. So I'm going to close this CSS file for work and then the GSX file as well. So I'm going to close this folder. Then I'll open the folder for the contacts and the GSX file. So RFC to create a functional React app, press enter. Then let us start work. So here I'm going to create a div tag with a class name of contact form and an ID of contact. So dot contact form. It's an ID of contacts. So we have an h2 tag. We're creating for contact me. This is going to display contact me. Then next up is like a text. Please fill this form to book my service. Right. Next thing we need to do, since we're creating a form, we're going to need the form tag. So let's work hash here. So we have form tag. We're creating a div tag. The first div tag, we're going to have the label for the first name, and this is going to display full name. Then we're going to create another div tag with the class name of names. So in this div tag, we're going to have two inputs for the first and the last name. So I'm having input in form of text. So the type is going to be text. So the name is first name. And the ID as well is going to be first name. Also, we need a placeholder. So the placeholder is going to take first name. And this is required. Okay. The second input. So the second input is also going to be in form of text. So the type, I'm just going to select text. Name is last name. The ID as well is last name. And the placeholder is going to take last name. Next thing we need to do is to create another div tag for the email section. So here we have a div tag, then label email. This is going to display email, and we're using a star to show that it is required, it is compulsory. So I'm going to have an input tag here, and the type is email. So the name here is going to take email. The ID as well is going to take email, and the placeholder is going to take example, like you're showing the user what they should enter at example.com. It could be a Gmail, it could be anything. So it could be a Gmail, it could be a Yahoo Mail. Okay. So we're done with the email section. Then I'm going to create another div here, and that is for message. Okay. So label, this is going to take message, and what we want to display is message. And we're using this to show that it is compulsory. So for message, if you remember in our HTML, we use text area. Okay. So the name is going to take message as well. The ID is going to take message, and it is also required. All right. So after that, we need a button, and the button type is a submit type button. So we want to display submit. Okay, so this is our contact form. I'm going to mount it in the app.jsx. So contact. So this is what we have currently without styling. Now let's just style it on. So back to my contact.jsx, I'm going to import my CSS file into my GSX file. So I'm going to open the CSS file. We're starting with the contact form container. So this is contact form. First, we need to set the max width. So it's going to be 600 pixels. The margin will be set to auto because we want it at the center. Padding of 20 pixels should do it. And the border will be 1 pixel solid with this color code as 212531. Then a border radius of 10 pixels, we're going to apply that to it. Margin top will take 3 rem. Now remember that we have an H2 tag. So we want the text to be at the center, and then margin bottom of this as well, 20 pixels. We also have a P tag. We want the text to be at the center, and the margin bottom of this as well to be 20 pixels. And the color is going to take this color code. Now we have this form element here, and we have div tags for the form element. So here we're going to have contact, form tag with div tag. The margin bottom of each is going to take 15 pixels. Now the first div tag is with a class name of names. So I'm styling this names display flex because we have two inputs in this container, the first name and the last name, right? Next thing we need to do is the label in the form. So for the label, display is going to take block, margin bottom is going to be 5 pixels, and the font width will be bold. Let's see. So this is what we have right now. Next thing we need to do is to style our input tag and the text area. So right here, contact form, the form, and we're styling the inputs. Also, we're styling the text area, contact form, the form with the text area. So the width, we want to have a form of calculation. It should take 50% of the entire width minus 25 pixels. Padding is going to take 10 pixels. The margin right is going to take 10 pixels. Margin bottom will be 5 pixels. Then our border will be 1 pixel solid with this color code. And also the border radius will be 5 pixels. And the background transparent. Okay, so this is what we have. The email section, the input tag for email and message, they're quite small, so we need to increase the width. So here we're going to have contact form and the form element. So the input and our target, okay, the input, our target here is of type email, right? And then we want to style for the text area. So we're setting the width to 95% of the container. So this is it. So this is it. This is also looking quite small for the names. So here, okay, there should be a space between both. So it's looking all good. We need to increase the height of the text area. So I'm going to have contact form, the form, and then text area. The height is going to take 160 pixels. Resize to none. And then we have a button. So contact form, our button. The width should take 100% of the container. Padding will take 10 pixels. The background color should be white. The text color should be black. The border will be set to none. And the border radius should be 5 pixels. Cursor here is going to be the pointer. And also when you hover on the button, you should work on the hover effects. We want to change the background color to this color code. So this is it here. When you hover on it, this is what you're going to see. So we're done with our contacts. Next thing is, let us see if it is responsive before we move to the next thing. Okay, so our contact form is responsive, so we don't need to touch that. Next thing we need to work on is the footer section. So I'm going to create the contact.css file and also close the contact.jsx file. Then on our footer, REFC to create a functional reactor, click enter. Okay, so I'm going to create a div tag here with a class name of footer. Then we're going to create another div tag for footer bottom. Since it's at the bottom side, we have the left and right. Okay, so this is going to take footer. I'm creating another div tag for the left side. Then I'm going to create another div tag for the right side. Okay, so for the left, we're going to have, I'm creating an h2 tag, and it's going to take the name John Trumbull. Then I'm going to create another div tag for socials, and that is where we're going to have all our social icons, starting with Facebook. So React is going to suggest a list of icons that we can choose from. I'm using the first. So class name will be social icon. Okay, let me close this tag. Then we're using Instagram. So I'm using the first one. Let me just copy this class name and paste it here since that's what we're going to be using. And lastly, let's say YouTube, right? And I'll paste the class name that I copied earlier. So on the right section, we're going to have lists, and it's going to take 4 list items. The first list being home, the second list item being services, the third list item being about me, and the last list item being hire me. Okay. And then after this footer bottom, we want to have an HR tag, then with the copyright text. So I'm going to create a p tag, give it a class name of copy, and then it's going to take these texts. Okay, so this is our footer. Then we'll come back to our GSS, mount it here. So this is our footer in our app.gss. Let us style. First off, we need to import our CSS file into the GSS file, footer.css, and I'm starting with this, but I'm going to copy this and paste it here. So for footer, display is going to be flex. Flex direction is column. The gap will take 30 pixels, and the padding will take 80 pixels. Now, for this footer bottom, display is going to be flex as well. Display here, flex. Justify content, space between. Yeah. Now for the footer left, we have the h2 tag. Okay, so let me copy this. And we have the social as well. So for the h2 tag, the font size, I'm going to set it to 28 pixels. Okay, the socials, Display here will be flex, and the gap is going to be 15 pixels. Margin top here will take 10 pixels. Now the social icons, each of the social icons, they have the same class name. So for social icon, the font size, I would set it to 20 pixels. Now we have the right section. So for the right, the list, display will be flex, and the gap between each list item is going to take 15 pixels. Then now for the each of the list item, li, we need to set the font size. This is going to take 18 pixels. Okay. Now we have the copyright. Remember, I created a p tag with the class name of copy, text align, want it at the center, and the font size of the text will take 18 pixels. So this is what we have. Let's see if it is responsive.